What's up, Cameron?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
What do you got?
I've got some stuff here. A lot of things that I've been playing with lately. That are the new D20 Fidget Spinners.
Wow, that's lengthy. That's quite a mouthful.
We can condense it. We can come up with an acronym. D20 Fidget Spinners. Playing with a lot of stuff lately, which is kind of, I don't really work. I just play with wood. And was thinking about, those rings, those old D20 rings?
Yeah.
Not old.
Crit Success.
Is that what it was? Crit Success?
Yeah.
And they had them on the finger. It was really cool. And I was thinking about, we had bearings around for some reason. I was playing with these bearings. So we were doing like dials for like HP trackers. So I'm like, well, what if we inverted that idea and like had something that spinned around the bearing? And I'm like, oh, it's a fidget spinner in wood, which is cool. It's been done. But I'm like, well, what if we made it a D20 like the rings on the inside? So basically the inside, underneath the dial, is numbered from 1 to 20 in a random order. And the idea being that you can grab this bad boy at the table and spin it and roll an 18. So I made a bunch. I handed them out to people at the shop, and they would take them and not give them back. So I'm like, okay, well, this has legs, because they take them and hold on to them and like not want to give them back to me. And I'm like, no, I need to have those back or you're fired. And they did give them back to me. So what I did
was fired in the making of.
I don't think anyone was fired yet. Nobody was fired yet. So I took a bunch and put them together and kind of show you guys what the heck's going on.
If I can stop you here, we sent out an email yesterday.
Yeah.
Asking our fans for feedback.
We did.
And we got hundreds of responses.
Really?
In the first day, yes. So I've combed through the list.
Okay.
And taken some of the more often asked questions.
Is this a Q&A?
It's a Q&A. So let's put you under the gun.
Okay.
I've got my board here with questions. First main question, how long does it spin if I'm going to be rolling a D20? I don't want it to spin for 3 minutes.
Depends on how hard you hit it. Next. Now, it depends on the weight of the wood. The lighter woods tend not to spin as long, or you can slam the thing if you really want it to go.
But we're talking seconds.
Seconds, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3 seconds.
Okay.
That's it. If you want to get a really like heavy kind of wood, hammer the thing, it'll go. Oh, I took the compressor the other day and held one, like the air compressor against it. Let's get that after.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Second question. Does it make noise?
We have these really cool, high quality, ultra quiet bearings. So when we spin these things, you can't hear.
I can't hear anything. I heard your finger flick.
That's it. That's about it.
So it's good for table, basically. You don't want to like
great for the table.
Sitting at your game table playing D&D. You don't want to go that noise.
No, you can't hear it at all, surprisingly. So the way it's mated is we have the 2 caps. Let me take one apart here. So basically, as you can see here, it's very simple. There is a bearing in the center that's glued in, and we have a dowel rod, which made of red oak, and the spinner, which goes through the said bearing. Oh, I forgot the washer. So we pop a steel washer on there, so the wood doesn't have any contact with the other wood. Pop this baby on. Normally we'd put a drop of glue on that just to finish it off. You can see there's wood and then there's washers between the wood. So there's zero contact between the button and this thing, and so when you spin it, it's only bearing.
Nice.
So it's nice and quiet, super smooth. I think they're deep groove bearings. We kind of actually splurged on these ones a little bit, so that's probably...
I don't remember approving that cost.
That's because you don't have to, because I get to do that. I think there's like 9 or 10 sculpts right now.
And you'll have more coming.
Yeah, we get some more coming. I want to offer these in like a real wide variety of woods, because we haven't done that in a while. And some options with the buttons, so more of a custom project, because normally we're shifting away from that a little bit, but that'd be cool to go back and like offer the whole shebang.
That's interesting, and because we've made that choice not to do that, right? To limit SKUs on Kickstarters. Why do you feel comfortable going back now with something a little more widespread, basically?
I think we're at a like the business is at a point now where we're clean, where we're doing these Kickstarters and filling them in a couple months. So we've kind of gone from like getting ourselves too far into the gun, too much liability from Kickstarter, and it's taken us a couple years to dig out from that. And now we're like really clean. So I feel like for a smaller product, where it's not a massive investment like a screen, which takes a bunch of people and a bunch of time, we can do these at like a lower price point. You know, entry level for these is like $25, $26. So we can do these at a lower price point, and I thought it'd be cool to allow people to mix and match a little bit. So
cool.
You get to pick the wood, the design, the button probably, and the cool thing about these is they all assemble the same. So in terms of like execution on a development end and production, it's fairly easy. We don't introduce a whole lot of advanced logistics through that.
Good. All right, back to the questions.
How
legible are the numbers, especially on the dark woods?
The numbers on the light woods are really good. This is cherry. You can see these in daylight. Some of the darker ones are tougher to see. I like these because you can move them in your hand and look at them. We're gonna probably end up doing something to fill those. So whether it's, you know, an inlay or some other kind of material that fill those in. I don't know yet if we're gonna do it on all of them because some of them don't need it. The lighter woods just don't require it. So maybe we do something like on the premium level, we inlay them all or something to that effect. But that is in development.
Cool. What size is it? Will it fit in small hands?
I went around with a tape measure to everybody in the shop, and I had them go like this, and I measured this distance, and it's surprisingly consistent.
We should ask everybody to make that same measurement and post under the comments.
No, if you want to, you can measure your fingers. So I made a couple, took them home to my 10-year-old, and had him play with it, and he's like, oh, okay. So, you know, it's close for little kids. And we took some examples that we had before and kind of came up with a common measurement. So these guys are, I think, like 3 across in the max.
Total, so 3 from side to side.
3 in diameter, something to that effect.
Yeah.
So you can see if I hold it like that, there's,
yeah,
I have an inch of clearance, but I have big hands. But you could have like fairly tight hands and it would work. And they're all, that's about the maximum radius. None of them exceed that. I think the tentacles is probably the beefiest one. It probably has the absolute maximum diameter. But they all get cut from the same circular blank, so it won't exceed that.
Will people be able to choose the center dial?
I think so, yeah. Like I said, in terms of like production, it's fairly easy. Once they're actually like done and cut out, it's just a laser engraving on them. And I think maybe we'll release some more, enough to like at least match one to each sculpt. And then maybe, it might be cool to do a custom one. It'd be cool to like a name, like get your name in all the way around it or something like that. So definitely open to that. Put your suggestions in the comments and see what we can do.
All right, here's a tough one. Is it balanced?
Wood is a product of nature, and anything made out of wood is inherently imbalanced. You cannot balance wood because of the way a tree grows and the differentiations in the seasons. If that weren't the case, wood would be perfectly balanced. It never is. These are different species of wood. It's never balanced. Are we close? We're pretty close. You know, look at this thing. It's intended in the design to be balanced. So you'll see they're all circularly symmetrical. So none of these have like odd protrusions that would make it unbalanced. But yeah, no, it's not perfect. You're going to use your finger to spin it. It's a close approximation. The numbers on the dial on the inside are random.
So they're not sequential. It's not
they're
1,
not,
2,
they're
3,
not
4.
sequential. No, they're randomly spread out.
So if you're playing a high stakes RPG,
like if you're
I've never heard of anything like that, but
who knows? If you're like betting money, I wouldn't you know, use the fidget spinner to determine that. But if it's like a friendly game of D&D, I don't see any issue. You could probably if you let me see, find one that spins really long. If you were like really meticulous and you like studied and did this 1,000 times and hit it exactly the same,
I don't think that's possible. I've been playing with one for the last like 16 hours.
Well, yeah, but somebody's going to try to do that. And look, if you're buying this to try to game the system in D&D, well, I haven't played D&D, man.
Yeah,
that makes the point.
Are you going to do other dice results instead of a D20?
I don't know yet. Maybe in a different revision. I think for this one, I want to stick with the D20 to see if like they're popular, if people like them, if we get any feedback on them on how to improve. But not yet. Possibly in the future.
Are they easily broken? Because they look so fragile and
Easily
delicate.
broken? Nah, not really. These are all done out of 3/8 hardwood. I'll hold that there
So it's
you
solid
can
one piece of
see it.
hardwood.
Yep, solid one piece. Let me pull that other one apart.
Could you break it with your hands right now?
If I wanted to, yeah.
You could? How hard would you have to try? Like, show me
probably,
a little bit.
I could probably take this and break it.
Okay,
But I'm not going to break it.
No, stress
No.
test.
Yeah.
Stress test.
No, it's not. It's not going to fall apart. So let me show you. So I pop this out. That's what the actual piece of wood looks like, right? And by the time you get a bearing in there, the bearing friction fits in, press fits, and we glue it. So by the time you get the bearing in there, the thing's stable as heck.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no danger like one of these 20s breaking off that piece.
God no, no way. It's more danger if you like were to press it in the middle, and this is probably the most
Delicate
design. Like these beefy tentacles. Like, no, we're not going anywhere. I've been dropping these all over the place, and they don't break. So
we've had a suggestion of,
and if they do break, you get a free one because lifetime guarantee.
That's true. We've had a couple suggestions to figure out a way to have these magnet to our Valhalla screens.
Oh yeah. So through the R&D process, we were using hardware as a pin. So we played with like metal hardware, like Chicago bolts and things like that, like on the HP trackers. Kind of decided that the wood was a better friction fit because wood has some compression, which is nice. There's no screws. It's cleaner. I like how it ends up looking and feeling in the hand. So at one point I was putting these neat little like decorative, I don't have one, like decorative pins. So we could potentially put a pin in here that would make it compatible with the screen. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we're gonna do that. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Maybe it's an addition. I don't want to do it on all of them because most people wouldn't use them on a screen. But if you have a screen, we could probably work something out.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, last one. This is a tough one. The fidget spinner fad is way over.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like the utility in these. I think it's a really nice fit for sitting at a table. And I always like mess around with my dice. They're like, my little guy, walk him around and like mess with my stuff. So I think this is a really nice piece of utility that works at the table. So yeah, it's a fidget spinner you can play with here. I've been playing with one in the office all day long. Take it to the bathroom, play with it there, play with it in your car, whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, you still roll 20.
So what you're saying is the fad is over, you don't care.
Nah, I think this is cool as heck. This is cool as shit. Honestly, I really like these. And they're like right up my alley. Crunchy, fun to play with, and they're like a little bit novelty. And I think that's pretty badass.
I wanted to share a final comment that we got on the feedback responses. It was from yahoo.com, and he said, why don't you guys go yourselves?
If you don't know already, we're looking for feedback. Go to dogmite.com/feedback. Let us know what you think. And look at all the really cool, crunchy spinning boys. They all spin. Ah.
If you come across a beholder in the forest, what you want to do is get your teeth right around his eye stalks and grab it and rip him out as fast as you can. That'll make sure you're the one walking away from the fight.